there was a bit of a mess in the schedule as things went because the NFL switched things up on Broncos fans who were planning to go out, see the game in L.A. There were a ton of Broncos fans out there at SoFi tonight. But the league moved the game, of course, from Sunday to tonight's primetime slot.
9 News reporter Colton Chavez spoke with one fan in particular about that kind of bumpy road to SoCal.
Yeah, it's a bumpy road for all of us here tonight. In our first story, I spoke with Greg Wellesley, and he guessed that the Broncos would win this one 20-17, as you just heard. That was not the case. Now, while he didn't get the score right, he says he never could have predicted his road to LA being this difficult. Before Greg Wellesley saw the bright lights of SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles,
I got hollered at, "Go Broncos," walking over here.
He thought his chance of traveling to LA for the game was a shot in the dark when the Broncos were flexed from Sunday to Thursday night football.
First thoughts are, is our vacation ruined, right?
We first met Greg about a month ago sitting inside his sports den.
These are seats from the original Mile High Stadium.
Back then, unsure if he could afford to rebook his flight and hotel to make the adjusted game day. Somehow, he did.
It's just kind of all in the past now, right? We did what we had to do. We moved some flights, we moved the hotels, and now here we are in Los Angeles. It's a beautiful day. It's beautiful weather. The sun is shining.
At SoFi Stadium, Broncos fans like Greg showing up and shining bright in orange and blue.
A lot of orange on the flight out this morning. I feel like Broncos country has traveled well as usual.
Greg says it's a path worth traveling, despite the few bumps along the way.
I am ready for this team to go back to the playoffs.
And Greg says with all of the changes to his travel, it cost him about $1,000 extra to make it to tonight's game. Colton Chavez, 9 News.
Winter officially starts on Saturday, but apparently nobody bothered to tell Denver. 9 News meteorologist Corey Reppenhagen is here with more on your unseasonably warmed forecast. Hey, Corey.
Yeah, hey, I think for the winter solstice, the official start of astronomical winter, I think it's going to feel very kind of fall-like with temperatures very close to record high temperatures in the 60s. 67 is the record, 61 is the forecast. So here's the temperature tonight, really starting to cool off after those winds. We kind of got a little help from those downsloping winds. The air compresses as it falls in elevation, and it actually warms the air up. So when it gets down here to the front range, it's actually kind of warm. In fact, our low temperature today was only 33 degrees, which is well warmer than average. So our headlines that we're tracking, winds are diminishing. Next couple of days will be calmer. Very warm weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And we're tracking a storm that's coming in on Christmas that could make up for what's been lacking over the last 19 days. I'll have that in the forecast.
Arvada police are investigating violence between employees at a business.
Yeah, they say a worker at a tire shop in Arvada shot his co-worker today, leaving that co-worker hospitalized with some severe injuries. Let's get to 9 News reporter Ria Jha in Arvada with more. What'd you learn, Ria?
Yeah, police say the man was shot right in this service bay over here before he came through this parking lot and into the dialysis center right in front of me. I spoke with the people who work at the dialysis center who said the man hobbled in and was bleeding everywhere before an ambulance came and picked him up. The Arvada police said it was another employee who called them about the shooting just before 3 p.m. here at Big O Tires near the intersection of 52nd Avenue and Vance Street. The victim was shot at least 2 times. Police say he was getting treatment and surgery at the hospital. The suspect ran away from the scene and was later picked up by someone else in a car.
We're not releasing his identity, but we do believe this was an incident between 2 known individuals, so we're not overly concerned about a threat to the broader public.
Police say they arrested the suspect just before 5 p.m. outside of his home. If anyone knows anything about this, Arvada Police is asking them to call them. Reporting live in Arvada, Ria Jha, 9 News.
Xcel wants more money from customers to modernize its power grid here in Colorado. The utility is hoping for a nearly $5 billion upgrade to create a grid of the future. The goal is to handle more homes with solar panels, 400,000 electric vehicles being charged, and 300,000 heat pumps on homes and businesses. Xcel says that will require 35 new substations all across the state. An electrical engineering professor at the Colorado School of Mines, who is not paid by Xcel, understands the need.
Failure of, let's say, one transmission line or one generation plant can have a domino effect, ramifications across the state. So you might have like a brownout or a blackout for a significant part of the states.
The Public Utilities Commission will have the final say on the dollar amount that Xcel can charge customers. Xcel says an average electric customer currently pays about $97 a month. That would go up $1 a month starting in 2026, and then by 2029 it would be almost $9 more a month. People are apparently complaining to city council members about the amount of new gas stations popping up all around Denver.
So now there's a new proposal that would slow down the addition of new gas stations in some areas. 9 News reporter Spencer Soysher is along with that. And Spencer, the idea would be to limit how close new gas stations could be built to existing gas stations.
Yeah, exactly. And this right here on Alameda and Downing, a perfect example. $2.99 unless you use the little thingy and you get 10 cents off at the Circle K over there. They say this is a great example of why we need less gas stations and maybe use that land for more housing.
You know, we started getting all of these emails in from residents saying, like, this is getting crazy. What is going on here?
Denver City Council members Amanda Sawyer and Paul Cashman say their constituents have noticed something on the roads.
We started getting calls a few years ago from people wondering why the heck we're continuing to build gas stations in areas that already have a proliferation.
Cashman and Sawyer are two of the 3 council members sponsoring a bill that could be heard by the city council soon. It would amend the city's zoning code to restrict where new gas stations can be built in the name of more housing. Can't build a new station within a quarter-mile of a light rail station or an existing gas station.
We are desperate for housing, but what we're seeing is, you know, where larger multi-unit housing should go is along transit corridors. That land is being bought up and gas stations are being built there.
We went to a stretch of Evans and counted how much gas we passed in a less than 1.5 mile stretch. 6 stations all along the road.
In the 10 years that I've been on city council, I have never once had someone call and say, Councilman, I need to fill up my tank and I don't know where to go.
Their proposal has pushback.
I come before you this afternoon to take additional time to study some of the unintended consequences that will come from the gas station zoning text amendment.
A rep from the gas company Quick Trip says fewer stations brings less competition, and with it, higher prices. But that argument falls flat with the council members.
People aren't moving out of Denver because of the price of gasoline. They're moving out of Denver because they can't afford to live here.
Gas stations that submitted plans to be built before last May would be grandfathered into this and would be exempt. This would be scheduled to be heard before the city council in February. Live in Denver, Spencer Soysher, 9 News.